It's been smooth. 20 drops. What?
There are 50,000 people in this city.
Professor Ilian, who's also on the commission, says the radiation isn't high enough to evacuate.
Ilian isn't a physicist.
Well, he's a medical doctor. If he says it's safe, it's safe.
Not if they stay here.
We're staying here.
Yes, we are. And we'll be dead in 5 years. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Awards Watch Emmy Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Anderson. This is Emmy Podcast number 30. And again, I have with me returning champion Amanda Spears. Hello, Amanda.
Hello.
All right. It is the week before the Creative Arts Emmys, which is a 2-night spread of dozens and dozens of awards, including some pretty tasty ones that we're going to be going through today.
Sorry.
And some of the ones that we're going to go through, we're going to talk about maybe seeing some potential sweeps underway, and if anything specific that wins this weekend, say for cinematography or casting or picture editing, whatever, how much of a bellwether that might be on the Primetime Emmys the week after, which are September 22nd. And I think we're just gonna kick right off with the guest acting categories. We haven't really figured out exactly which ones we're gonna all manage, but we're definitely gonna do guest acting, and let's go ahead and do it now. Amanda. Which one do you want to do first?
Oh, your choice.
Dealer's choice. Okay. Let's start with guest actor in a drama series. I'll go ahead and name off the nominees and their episodes real quick. We have Michael Angarano for This Is Us, episode Songbird Road Part 1. Michael McKean, Better Call Saul, episode Winner. Ron Cephas Jones, This Is Us, episode A Philadelphia Story. Kumail Nanjiani, The Twilight Zone, episode The Comedian. Glenn Turman, How to Get Away with Murder, episode It Was the Worst Day of My Life. And Bradley Whitford, The Handmaid's Tale, episode Postpartum. So, what do you think's winning?
I didn't think Bradley Whitford had any chance, and now I'm thinking maybe we're underestimating him.
I don't know if it's just him, but maybe the whole show, because of how the hanging episodes worked for its eligibility here. It pretty much maxed out where it could be nominated. It got a lot of nominations, so clearly the Academy still likes the show enough to keep pushing it. But do they like it enough to vote for it to win?
Well, that is a good question. I know it would be nominated for drama series if it was eligible, but it's hard to say how everyone's going to feel about this. As far as do they like this? Do they not like this? I mean, the only other one we really have to go off of is Lakeisha Wright, who was nominated last year, not for the movie that Black Mirror submitted for supporting actress, but for another movie. She was never going to win. She's way too young for that. So it's hard to say. I still believe you can eliminate, oh goodness, both Glenn Turman and Kumail Nanjiani just on they're not in a nominated series rule.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm not sure.
We've talked about this a lot. But
I know.
My feeling is that with the way that this is with an expanded race, it's just easier to knock those two out. So that leaves you with 4. And both of the This Is Us guys, I like them. I just don't know if either of them can win because each of them has kind of a problem. They don't usually repeat in this category. That affects Ron Cephas Jones. Michael Angarano is on the younger side. But Better Call Saul does not have a great Emmy record.
No, it's got a terrible Emmy record for acting wins, but there's something about Michael McKean here because he had been predicted so many times before in supporting and elsewhere that I almost feel like this is a great opportunity for him, a great chance for him to win here.
Yeah, the show hasn't won an Emmy yet. So it's hard to bet against Bradley Whitford, especially since while they were voting, he was so good in the season finale. He was really, really great in that season finale.
Yeah, that's...
Which I know it doesn't matter, but if voters are watching while they're voting, it can affect people because it's a plurality vote.
It does sometimes because we talk about that kind of thing all the time. And Pose's second season was going on while voting for the first season was happening. So it's sort of there's something I think that can happen with a voter where they're feeling like if that timing coincides with each other, that if say a second season or whatever the next season is really good, that it sort of bolsters and justifies voting for the season before, because that when it comes back again and when voting comes back again in a year, that say that win from the year before has merit. I am sure there are people that are using all kinds of logic to their vote, that it's not simply here's what I like best.
Yeah, so I still feel like this might be Michael McKean's to win. He's the right age. Say what you will, but if you scroll through some of the past winners, Dan Pukatinsky stands out as one of the younger ones.
Yeah.
And he was not that young when he won. I'm not trying to call him old. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, I think there is a great career element to this, and he is my prediction to win.
Could you imagine if two people if somebody like Eugene Levy or Catherine O'Hara, both of one of those who could win, and Michael McKean, like Christopher Guest, we might have a new movie for him finally.
I hope somebody is got their pen and paper during this and creating something in case that does happen. All right, so Are you predicting Michael McKean?
Yes, I'm still going to go with Michael McKean. In second place, I'm going to go as a hedge, Bradley Whitford, Michael Angarano for This Is Us, Ron Cephas Jones in fourth, and then Glenn Turman and Kumail Nanjiani.
I think I might go Michael Angarano in second, and then Ron Cephas Jones in third, then Bradley Whitford, then Glenn Turman, then Kumail Nanjiani.
We should just point out real quickly that if Bradley Whitford were to win, he'd be the first to win both Guest Actors, and for completely different types of people.
Yeah.
Because he won for Transparent. So from that to a dystopian world that he created where women are getting raped.
There you go.
Yeah, that's quite the whiplash.
It is. It definitely is. Yeah. I mean, maybe I should have him a little bit higher.
I just think that they might. He's done so much, and they love him.
They do. All right, let's jump over to Guest Actress in a Comedy Series. Do you want me to read them off, or do you have them in front of you?
Sure, you read them off. It's good continuity.
Sounds good to me. All right.
We should have these kind of conversations before.
I know. We've got Jane Lynch, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel episode, Vote for Kennedy, Vote for Kennedy. Sandra Oh, Saturday Night Live, host Sandra Oh. Maya Rudolph, The Good Place, GDC's The Time Knife. Fiona Shaw, Fleabag, episode 2. Kristen Scott Thomas, Fleabag, episode 3. Emma Thompson, Saturday Night Live, host Emma Thompson. I'm still surprised that Jane Lynch wasn't able to win this before. And it would be weird to see her win for this because it's like such an identical performance. It'd be kind of awful if she were to win this.
I don't think it would be awful. I think
do. I would not like it. That's just personal, though. I think she still has a decent chance.
I think if you remember last year with supporting actor in a drama series where there was a lot of different nominees, but there wasn't like one standout amongst the group. So they kind of almost defaulted to Peter Dinklage. I feel like there's not really one standout in this group. They've all got some really good pros, but I don't think one of them's like Tiffany Haddish last year where you're like, oh my God, she was amazing. She has to win an Emmy. So I think in that case, it kind of defaults to the most respected or most liked. Mm-hmm. And that has to be Jane Lynch. I don't see how she...
I think this is one of the categories that I was mentioning at the top where maybe we'll be able to see something taking shape depending on who wins here. Especially if it's either Fiona Shaw or Kristen Scott Thomas. I think if either of them win, it's an easy way for us to go, okay, maybe Fleabag is as big as it seems that it is. If it's Jane Lynch, then
this could be her. I think this is kind of where Maya Rudolph might be able to, like, I think she at least stands out. She's so good in her few episodes of The Good Place.
She's always good in everything she does.
Yeah.
I would love Maya Rudolph to win this.
I wish she would have submitted the finale or the penultimate, which is like, apparently I'm a black woman.
Oh my God, she's amazing.
She sells it so well, though, is my point. But
so how do we feel then about Sandra Oh and Emma Thompson?
I don't feel like either of them stands out enough to actually win. I think for Sandra Oh, this nomination makes her look good for drama series.
Yeah.
Actress, because it proves they're kind of ready to give it to her. Remember when John Hamm won from Mad Men, a lot of people also thought he'd win for the first season of Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Kimmy Schmidt for that Reverend Tim Tom.
That was just an example of so much hope dicting and people being like, well, my God, why can't he finally win? How about this now?
Yeah. So I think that this sets her up for the win for drama actress. I don't think she's going to win here. I don't think any of them have that kind of knockout episode like Adam Sandler, for example, does, or Tiffany Haddish. Frankly, I'm surprised it wasn't Awkwafina who got in.
I know.
I really feel like they nominated the wrong two. No offense to either of these two.
I would have loved that as well. All right, so let's.
So I feel like in this kind of like the only one who worries me a little is Kristen Scott Thomas because she's an Oscar nominee. She's the actor's actor in the category.
It's such a good episode too.
And she's so good in it. And she doesn't do a lot. She makes movies in foreign languages. She has that kind of credibility that makes you kind of think, are we underestimating her? Because when you look at Fleabag's nominations, for example, they've got 11 nominations.
Yep.
How many of these are they realistically going to win is my question.
Well, that's the thing. What if one of them wins here? I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I think that bodes really well for the 22nd.
Yeah, I think that this might be one of their better chances when I'm looking at their nominations. Because it's probably not going to win comedy series. I would be shocked if it won casting. Probably not winning directing. That takes out 3 right there. Supporting actress is a maybe at best.
Oh, I think it's a little more than that. But
we'll go
over that on.
I'm saying it's a possibility, but I'm just saying it's not like a strong. Oh yeah, they've got that one.
All right. Well, what's your ranking for guest actress in a comedy series?
Okay. Oh gosh.
Let's do it.
Okay. Jane Lynch. To hell with it. Maya Rudolph, The Good Place. Kristen Scott Thomas. Fleabag. Sandra Oh, SNL, Emma Thompson, SNL, and then Fiona Shaw.
All right. My predictions for guest actress in a comedy series are Kristen Scott Thomas, then Jane Lynch, then Maya Rudolph, then Fiona Shaw, then Sandra Oh, and Emma Thompson.
So we're close.
Close. Yeah, I think Scott Thomas.
We have the same three, just kind of like in a different order.
Yeah, but in a very different order.
Well, top three. Yeah.
All right, let's jump to where are we going to go? Let's go to guest actress in a drama series. And we've got Laverne Cox, Orange is the New Black. Well, this took a dark turn. Cherry Jones, The Handmaid's Tale, Holly. Jessica Lange, American Horror Story Apocalypse, Return to Murder House. Phylicia Rashad, This Is Us. My Little Island Girl. Cicely Tyson, How to Get Away with Murder. Where Are Your Parents? And Carice Van Houten, Game of Thrones, A Long Night. I think this is a fun category. I think it's only really a couple of people that are realistically in this, and that would be Phylicia Rashad, Jessica Lange, maybe, or Cherry Jones. And again, this is one of those. If Carice Van Houten wins this, we know that Game of Thrones is probably going to break another record.
Yeah, I think that this is Us's award this year. She deserves an Emmy. I don't think I'm hope dicting in this.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that Phylicia Rashad looks really good to win this. She is the exact type of person they love to award. I wish she and her people would have done a little bit better of a job just making it known that she hasn't won an Emmy.
I feel like they do.
I feel like we were hit over the head when it was Gerald McCraney. You know, we got a second chance at Ron Cephas Jones. Even with Henry Winkler, everybody who has clicked on an entertainment podcast for the 2 months before, after the Emmy nominations, knew he had never won an Emmy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they've done a good enough job, but I think she looks good to win this. It is Carice Van Houten that worries me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because there are 18 categories that Game of Thrones has on the creative arts. Now, they have 18 nominations, but they're only in 16 categories.
Yeah.
If they go 16 for 16, I might just go and move all of Game of Thrones up to the first.
I think that would be just common sense to do that, and you just put your chips in for there.
Yeah, I will do it. I mean, I might get the wrong supporting actress, but
but you got a 1 in 4 shot.
Yeah, but I think that if you love Game of Thrones, and these actors do love this show clearly because they got to somebody who wasn't Diana Rigg, who was a dame.
Yeah.
And she's at TIFF. She's doing all this kind of press right now.
Yeah.
I think that you had to have seen this episode. And unlike Diana Rigg, who usually has one good scene and that's about it, she's got so many looks in this.
Yeah. It's a great episode for her.
I mean, that tells you how Game of Thrones has mastered drama and action, because 3 actors submitted The Long Night as their acting submission.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's only 6 episodes, but I think what they did really well is making sure that virtually everybody on the show had an episode. And clearly they did, because everybody fucking got nominated.
Well, not everyone, but yeah, most of them got nominated.
Enough. All right. let's do rankings. I'll go first this time.
Oh boy.
My winner prediction is Phylicia Rashad. And then in order after that, Carice Van Houten, Jessica Lange, Cherry Jones, Cicely Tyson, and Laverne Cox.
Ditto.
Yeah. It's
Ditto.
this. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not going to be often that we'll be able to go 6 for 6 like this, so it feels pretty.
It feels obvious that would be the order.
It does feel kind of obvious to me. I'm not, I hate to sound arrogant, and I hope it doesn't, but it feels obvious to me.
And it's no disrespect to Cherry Jones or Jessica Lange,
who are both multi-winning actresses.
Yeah, they can go cry at their awards trophy.
I don't think either of them will be doing any of that.
No, I don't think either of them will show up.
Yeah, to the Creative Arts Emmys, probably not.
No. I do think Phylicia Rashad has like a 50-50 chance of showing up to this.
I think she'll show up.
Yeah, because she has a really good chance of winning.
More so than maybe ever. But
yeah there's probably...
I do think people will realize during this process and remember that she never won.
I hope you're right. That is the one thing that worries me, is that they're like, oh, I'm going to vote for Carice Van Houten, I loved her, this, and then they're going to forget. I love Game of Thrones, but I really want Phylicia Rashad to win an Emmy.
But there'll be plenty of people that do that as well, and they'll just vote Game of Thrones all the way down the ballot.
Yeah, like I said, if it goes 16 for 16...
Good Lord.
I'm just going to pick it in everything.
It'll already have the record even before we get to the primetime show, which is it's absolutely possible that it will break the record even before we get to the 22nd.
I'm working on that article right now because I'm just like, if it could like Lord of the Rings this, where it's like, okay, we're finally just going to give the actors this. That's why Kit Harington and Emilia Clarke are like, thank God we're alone, because if they're just a sweep, just get ready, prepare yourself, Eric.
I am prepared. All right. Well, the last guest acting category we have is guest actor in a comedy series. I kind of feel like this is an easy win as well, but let's go through the nominees and then see who we think it's going to be. We've got Matt Damon, Saturday Night Live, host Matt Damon, Robert De Niro, Saturday Night Live, host Sandra Oh, Luke Kirby, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, All Alone, Peter McNichol, Veep, Oslo, John Mulaney, Saturday Night Live, host John Mulaney, Adam Sandler, Saturday Night Live, host Adam Sandler, and Rufus Sewell, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Look, she made a hat. There's 3 shows represented from 7 nominees.
Yeah.
That is too many SNL guys in here. And Robert De Niro should not even be here.
My question is, how close are John Mulaney or Matt Damon to Adam Sandler? And how many votes are they going to take? Because if they're close, they could cancel each other out.
Well, I'm not a big proponent of that because I'm just not, and we have too many examples of, multiple nominees from the same show being able to win anyway. But
one has to stand out as the choice, and that's my question: is Adam Sandler the capital all caps?
I think he's absolutely absolutely.
Okay, but yeah,
if you're a comedian voting block, and you've got Adam Sandler and John Mulaney, I think you're going to go for Adam Sandler. If you're an actor,
but what about Matt
Damon? If you're an
actor's
block, and you're looking at Matt Damon and Robert De Niro, you're probably going to go for Matt Damon because it's just a more substantial performance. But I don't think any of them are going to be able to compete with Sandler.
I do wonder if Sandler's... I mean, I don't mind his movies, but if his movies might be a hindrance.
I don't, because that was the great takeaway from most people that watched this and reviewed it, was that regardless of what you thought about his movie acting, that it was a great episode, and it was a great episode.
He turned in an all-time great episode, and
I don't think it's just an unbeatable one.
Yeah, I actually think Peter McNichol was better in the final, the finale, but
I'm curious when we get to our rankings in a bit where we're gonna land with all of these SNL guys and
Yeah,
Peter McNichol.
I'm still leaning towards Peter McNichol. I think he got so much attention for not getting nominated, or excuse me, for getting his nomination rescinded. It kind of feels like we're going to give him a hug.
So are
Because
you
they
predicting him to
really,
win?
yeah, I am because I think he has a lot going for him,
Yeah.
and I do think that if you only watch the first few episodes of SNL this year, you might like Matt Damon. I think, if you're upset John Mulaney didn't get nominated last year, you might want to vote for him. If you're not a fan of Adam Sandler, giving him a major acting award might be a little too hard of a pill to swallow. There are snobs out there. You never know.
It's
So,
probably a good thing for everybody else that all of the notices that Sandler's getting for uncut gems at Telluride in Toronto aren't happening during the voting period. That would be
yeah, that's
would just
probably
that would put him right over the top.
well, then you've got, Matt Damon and Ford versus Ferrari. You don't know. That could definitely lead to a even more.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's
So
kind of my situation.
let me hear your ranking then.
Sorry. Peter McNichol, Veep. Adam Sandler. Although I would love to see what Adam Sandler said in an acceptance speech. I mean, please show up if you win. Matt Damon, hang in there someday. Matt Damon, Luke Kirby, John Mulaney, Rufus Sewell, and Robert De Niro. He doesn't belong in this category.
All right, my predictions. I think Adam Sandler is going to win. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Did I tell you I peed next to him at Telluride? It was so random. It was hilarious.
I don't want to hear that.
I did.
Did you tell him you liked Vanessa now?
It was right before his movie and the Q&A part. It was hilarious.
Did you tell him that you liked him in SNL?
I did not. I said nothing.
That's so weird. I don't want to hear about you going to the...
It was very funny. All right. Adam Sandler, number 1. Number 2, Peter McNichol. Number 3, Matt Damon. Number 4, John Mulaney. Number 5, Luke Kirby. Number 6, Robert De Niro. And number 7, Rufus Sewell.
Yeah.
And that's that.
I always feel like if I went to one of those film festivals, since you brought it up, I would spend all my time in the bathroom, like, just gathering gossip.
Well, it's a tiny festival and it's very intimate.
I would just be hiding in the toilet stall the entire time.
You don't need to, though. You run into people all over the place in restaurants.
I'm just kidding, because sometimes when people think there's no one there, they say things. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to write for page 6 now. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
All right. Where are we going to go next?
I just thought of that while you were talking about going to the bathroom.
I'm sure you did.
Casting?
Do you want to do casting? Let's do casting.
Yeah, those are the most important. The most important.
Yes, we've got 3 casting categories that we're going to discuss: comedy series,
this
drama
is where
series,
you
and limited
want
series.
to pay it. This is where you want to pay attention, folks, because this can help you pick who's going to win series. Unless it's Game of Thrones should lose, it's still going to win series.
Well, yes, because everything that is nominated in all of these categories, and this doesn't always happen, is also nominated in their series category. It doesn't always line up that way. In this case, it does. It's especially interesting for limited series, movie, or special because there are only 5 nominees there.
Oh.
And let's just go right to that one since that's what we're talking about. So the outstanding casting for a limited series, movie, or special nominees are Chernobyl, Escape at Dannemora, Fosse, Verdon, Sharp Objects, and When They See Us. I think we can probably eliminate Sharp Objects and Escape from Dannemora and say that it's between Chernobyl, Fosse, Verdon, and When They See Us. Those are the limited series that have the most nominations in the limited series category. And I think that's where we're going. What do you?
Yeah, I think this is a slam dunk for When They See Us. They had to find all those children actors. They had to find the adult versions of them. It's a deep bench, is my point. And on top of that, they got so many acting nominations. So I think that's definitely
more than any of the limited series.
Yeah, and one more thing to mention about casting is it's not just casting directors that vote in this category; it's producers and it's directors. So it is a good, for example, like Stranger Things won casting a couple years ago, but didn't win drama series. But even casting, even directors or producers are going to know it's really hard to find a good group of kids.
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Than it is to get Emily Watson, Bill Skarsgård, and Jared Harris together.
I think that
so.
I think you nail on the hit the nail on the head on why When They See Us would have an advantage there, and it's interesting too. You've got of these 5 nominees, 4 of them are casting real life people, or in the case of Emily Watson in Chernobyl, an amalgam of multiple people into one person, which in and of itself,
they do that sometimes.
Yeah, that happens all the time, but I think that's a pretty difficult task to do. You already have to have the task of that character being written and being a representation of so many people, and then you have to have the person that's going to be able to embody that the best. But other than sharp objects, everybody cast in this are playing real life people. I think
and casting Amy Adams and Patricia Clarkson is not. I mean, I'll give them Eliza Scanlon, but
well, it's a killer cast. There's
my
no
God.
doubt about that.
They would have won this category last year.
I know, timing is everything.
Oh, poor Chris Messina. He would have been nominated. So would have Eliza Scanlon.
Timing is everything.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? All right, so you think When They See Us? Do you think When They See Us has this?
Yeah.
I do too.
And I would put Fosse Verdon as the spoiler.
Ooh, I think I like where you're going, because I think I feel exactly the same way. And then
because they have all those dancers, it's a very specialty kind of cast they have to go deep into.
And this is the show that has the most real life people that are the most recognizable. So I think the level of difficulty for Fosse Verdon is a little higher than the other shows here.
Yeah, and they got all those Broadway stars in there, and you have to find actual dancers, so that's going to be a little bit more difficult than casting extras to run around screaming.
Yes. All right, so what are your rankings then?
So I'm going to go with When They See Us, Fosse Verdon, Chernobyl, Sharp Objects, Escape at Denmora.
I think I want to do the exact same. I can flip Dannemora and Sharp Objects, but
I think Sharp Objects has a little bit bigger of a cast.
Yeah, but I think with it missing like directing and writing, and you have other, like you said, other people voting in this than casting directors, I think that puts Dannemora up maybe just a little bit more.
I'm just stirring the pot. I really love Sharp Objects. So
I love Sharp Objects too. But regardless of that, they're in 4th and 5th place. So.
Yeah, in this category at least.
Yeah, a win for either of them would be hugely shocking.
I have to start rethinking a few things. But
all right, let's go to outstanding casting for a drama series, and we have Game of Thrones, Killing Eve, Ozark, Pose, and Succession.
Well, by default, this should really be between Pose and Succession, as they're the only new shows. The past 2 years, we saw Stranger Things win for its first season. Game of Thrones won previously for no reason at all. And then we had The Crown and like a goodbye. Thanks for the first round of casting. But I don't see how Game of Thrones loses this.
Yeah, but I mean, as we were just talking about a level of difficulty casting, there is no show nominated that had a higher level of difficulty in casting than Pose.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is still missing a directing nomination.
Yep, it's
So
it's missing
how?
it's missing crucial nominations for sure.
Yeah. So that's kind of one of the things where maybe like Succession didn't cast a whole bunch of known actors. They kind of went out of their way not to.
Yeah, it's one of the great things about it because people feel like a discovery, and it's not. Yeah.
I think Succession is actually the show that's probably going to do better next year.
Oh, it's going to have a huge second season.
Yeah, it's better this season. It's easier for me to get behind Succession if I had to pick a new show.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it has a directing nomination.
Yeah.
For me, Pose still seems so weak.
Yeah, weaker than it should be, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm glad it got the nominations that it got. I still think it's going to.
And it feels
get
like
a win,
Ozark and
but
Killing Eve are just taking up space.
I don't know if they're taking up space. I mean, they have the acting nominations and the writing and directing behind it to back it up. It isn't an out of nowhere. I mean, it would be like if Bodyguard got a casting nomination here.
That wouldn't make any sense.
It would be really kind of insulting and sad for Richard Madden.
I think Ozark added enough new cast members that I probably rank it a little higher than Killing Eve.
Yeah, and the entire plot was a brand new cast of people.
Yeah.
All right, well, then, if you have Game of Thrones as your number one, what's the rest of your ranking?
Game of Thrones, Ozark, Succession, Pose, and then Killing Eve.
Oh, goodness. All right, I will go with Game of Thrones, Succession, Pose, Ozark, Killing Eve. I feel like
probably still have
the new shows have a bit of an upper hand. But yeah.
Yeah. You would hope.
I hope so, yeah, but I think maybe.
Mr. Robot lost this to Game of Thrones. Like that's
Yeah.
still
And Succession is the only show here that does not have an individual acting nomination, so.
Yeah, that's also problematic.
A bit of a handicap for it. But
yeah.
Again, it has things then the Pose doesn't have, so you have to balance of what you think is going to be the more important to people voting on this.
I know.
I don't know. All right, let's do the last casting category that we're going to do today, and that is Outstanding Casting for a Comedy Series. Again, everything here is also nominated for comedy series, and we have Barry, Fleabag, Russian Doll, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and Veep.
This is very important because in the comedy category, so goes comedy casting, so goes comedy series. All three of Veep's wins.
Yeah.
And Maisel won casting and followed it up with comedy series.
Yes.
So,
but this is the first, and it will be the last time that they are up against each other.
Yeah, this is the first time. This is the last time we're going to see all five of them. Oh God! So Russian Doll's not going to win.
Probably not, although it's a really wonderfully eclectic cast.
Yeah, but it's kind of the Natasha Lyonne. I don't think that's going to help. That it just feels like so much as far as like the central cast is concerned is just her.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know how many episodes Chloe Sevigny was in, but the fact that she was not nominated, kind of bothers me. They don't go auteur. What?
Shouldn't have a whole lot.
Yeah. They don't go auteur, so that kind of puts Fleabag at a handicap. So it's hard because none of those three shows, Barry, Veep, or Maisel, added many new people that would justify this win. So that it tells you right there. This is it. Tentatively, I'm going to go, I think, with Barry.
Wow.
Because
Well,
it's not missing anything, and it overperformed.
it overperformed. It's clearly going to be the flagship comedy for HBO for next year, once Veep is
Yeah.
gone. But yeah, its jump in nominations from season 1 to season 2 is just one of those things that tells you exactly how much they love it. On the other hand, Veep went down for its final season. I think
But this is going to be a photo finish.
It's so tough. In fact, Veep has the least amount of nominations of all 5 of these.
It does, but they've never lost comedy series after they've won this. So,
Well, I think this is the, more than any category at the Creative Arts Emmys, is the biggest bellwether.
this is what I will be refreshing my phone and texting you about. And
Yeah, because of the 5, 4 of them all have an absolute legit stake at winning comedy series.
yeah, and the thing is that unlike the drama side, where they don't mind awarding drama series in their final season, they don't really love doing it on the comedy side.
I don't know if there's a lot of impetus to do it. I mean, this could be a case where Julia Louis-Dreyfus is the only win.
Possibly. Also, all we hear about is politics, 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 politics. When the show started, we were in this more stable political environment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's one of my thoughts as well, and and especially with the entire year that it took off and how much has happened politically
I
in
mean,
that year.
if Timothy Simons had done what he did 7 years ago, he would be nominated for an Emmy.
Yep.
I think the fact that we were like, yeah, you're playing like a better looking version of Trump. You're playing a younger, stupid version of some of these people we see. It's like, yeah, okay, sure.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and do mine first because I know they're going to be, it's not anything like yours. I know it.
Oh.
Okay. My ranking for outstanding casting for a comedy series is Fleabag, The Marvelous Mrs.
What the
Maisel,
hell? Sorry.
Barry, Veep, Russian Doll.
Why are you going with Fleabag?
Because I don't think Veep is going to win.
Okay, well, there's 5 other shows. Mm-hmm. There's 4 others. Mm-hmm. Why Fleabag?
I think it has the right amount of other nominations, especially acting nominations. I think it is a perfect zeitgeist show. I think it's happening. So
you know that these auteur shows don't win this award typically.
I don't know why you're calling it an auteur show. I don't see why it's. I mean,
because it's the Phoebe Waller-Bridge show. It's not an ensemble in the way that Barry is an ensemble.
Yes, but it has tons of nominations. The only thing it didn't get is Andrew Scott, which would have been a really deserving nomination and so much fun. Yeah, I just think it's going to happen. So what's your ranking?
My ranking is, Barry, because it is the only show that overperformed in directing. Yeah. Followed by Maisel, because it has 2 directing nominations. Veep, Fleabag, and then Russian Doll.
But Russian Doll also overperformed.
I know, but it doesn't have a directing nomination. So, if the directors loved it, where is it?
Yeah.
I mean, it might be 7. It might actually be 6. Same thing with Veep.
Both of us are wrong?
then we're just going to go, okay, well, now we know who's winning comedy series.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make an educated guess, and it's still really early for Barry to win comedy series.
Yeah,
Just by
it will next year.
HBO's. I mean, just following HBO's every non-limited series TV movie that's won, they're all in later seasons.
Here's the thing that I think is the bigger drawback for Fleabag than anything else, and that is how many years it took to get from a first to a second season. And we have no idea when a third season is coming around because she's working on other shows right now.
Well, she said she's done with the character.
So
there may never be a third season.
Exactly. There may never be.
So I don't know if they're going to want to award. I mean, that is showing the Television Academy really coming around. I really hope Good Place gets nominated here next year.
It would be wonderful.
Yeah. I think NBC's going to go full out for them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, I perfectly understand how crazy it is to say Fleabag might.
No, I was just a little surprised because you were all on the Barry train the last time we talked about comedies, and it got me thinking about it. And I'm like, yeah, if I'm thinking about this logically, Barry makes a lot of sense to win comedy series casting.
It does. I won't be shocked for a moment. I should probably have it as my second. That's why I'm so excited for this weekend to see what.
I know we're going to be messaging each other a lot.
I know.
We have lives outside of this, but my mom's, why are you refreshing your phone all the time? I'm like, I'm watching the BAFTA winners come in. And she's like, oh my god.
Oh wow. There are so many categories here.
Can we do costumes?
Yes,
can we please?
We can do costumes.
I'm a costumes expert.
I don't know if we'll get to the music categories.
We will. We'll do these quick.
We'll have to do them quick. All right, cool. Let's do costumes. There are
period costumes first.
4 costume categories because we do have variety, nonfiction, reality programming.
Well, I think we can all agree that outstanding fantasy sci-fi costumes is going to Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So just throwing. Let's just do that instead of doing our rankings, and to make it go quicker, we'll just say what our winner prediction is, and we can zip through these pretty quick. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Outstanding fantasy sci-fi, series of unfortunate events, American Horror Story Apocalypse, Game of Thrones, Good Omens, and The Handmaid's Tale. So yeah, I think Game of Thrones is winning. Yeah,
it's Game of Thrones. Anne Crabtree, please contact me. I would love to advise you going forward. They always submit the wrong episode. Not that they had much to choose from. I'm talking about last year, but please feel free to contact us at Awards Watch. I will for free tell you, because last year they could have won that category and they submitted the wrong episode.
Hey, there's a whole business of awards consulting that is not free. You don't necessarily have to give away your stuff for free.
I'm just saying that the first one will be free.
All right, let's go to outstanding period costumes, which
I love this race.
Is a crazy category because it combines comedies, dramas, and limited series. So we have Chernobyl, Fosse Verdon, Glow, Pose, and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
So the Crowns won this 2 years in a row, and they're sitting it out this year.
This is for me a Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert type of win for Pose here.
If this was the Oscar race, I would be over the freaking moon, because you have Pose, Maisel, and Fosse Verdon. And I don't know, but I think it's going to be really bad for Fosse Verdon if they lose this. But if Maisel loses casting, folks, but it starts feeding some drama series and limited series, especially a big budget one like Fosse Verdon, with all those historical costumes, it could be the tech steak eaters one that, all those below the line people really get it to the win.
Well, I mean, Maisel is period-wise the oldest era here, and then Fosse Verdon.
Yeah, they're right on top of one another. They're very close in years.
Not that close.
They're close enough. I mean, depending on which episode you're looking at in
that's
Fosse
just true
Verdon.
since they do jump around.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
But
wild that Chernobyl is here since it's suits and hazmat suits basically, and that's it. But that's just one of those like we love this damn show so much.
and the difference between contemporary and period, for those who care, is that you have to be within 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what kind of screws when they see us, is they have to compete as a period film.
Yeah, and
they
clearly
they don't
it's
have enough
not
costume.
here, so it did miss this nomination. All right.
Well, if
so
it was eligible in contemporary, it'd probably be okay.
What's your winner prediction?
Oh God. I think I'm going to go Maisel.
Okay.
I love those costumes, and they're so bright and cheerful, and it's got that bandstand number.
It's got a lot of costumes in this episode because there are, and it's
a ton of extras.
We're going to the Catskills, and yeah, so it's those location swimsuits, and I mean, there's a lot here.
And I think like what we saw this year,
huge cast of extras here
with Mary Poppins, like it was able to get in. But it's like, how hard is it to design a costume when you're using other costumes as your blueprints? I think there might be a little bit of that here also for Fosse Verdon.
Well, it's still hard.
Like, I know, no, I'm not saying it's not hard. I'm just saying where it's like, yeah, you put the actress playing Liza Minnelli in the same kind of outfit that she wore in Cabaret. Ooh. They might appreciate the actual design of picking the cuts and everything, is my point.
Yeah. All right, so you're picking Maisel, I'm picking Pose. Okay,
Whoa.
We'll see.
Who's your second?
My second is Fosse Verdon.
Yeah, my second's Fosse Verdon. My third's Pose.
Yeah, and then my third is Maisel, so we have the same top three.
Yeah, we have the same top three.
Yeah, that is not surprising, one single bit. Let's go to outstanding.
I would be shocked if Chernobyl won, but
yeah,
sure.
that would be again one of those. Oh, okay, so it's gonna win everything.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's gonna win comedy series. Limited series.
Let's do outstanding costumes for variety, nonfiction, or reality programming. And for that, we have
I do contemporary costumes.
Dancing with the Stars, Homecoming, a film by Beyonce, RuPaul's Drag Race, Trump the Rusical, Saturday Night Live host Sandra Oh, and the Masked Singer finale.
I think the Masked Singer might actually win.
It would be so weird because I mean, I understand why it's in this category, but it's totally like so over the top fantasy costumes.
I know, but they have to come with those specific looks for each person. I kind of think that's one where it's like, yeah, that could actually win. I know Dancing with the Stars usually has no problem in this category.
Yeah, this is a good category for Drag Race to be in. Again, so many contestants, so many costumes throughout a single episode.
But I feel like Masked Singer is about the costume a little bit because you are looking at it constantly.
That is the entire concept of the show. So yeah, it is. I think it's got an outstanding chance to win here. It's weird, but I mean, I feel like the bottom three would be like SNL, Dancing with the Stars, and Homecoming even. Jeez. All right. What are you thinking? What's your prediction?
Masked Singer.
Oh my God.
With Dancing with the Stars as the possible runner-up, and third, I would put RuPaul's Drag Race.
You know, I might agree. I think
they've
the
won
Masked Singer
too many
makes sense
times
as a winner. I think it makes sense.
Yeah. And the only reason I'm putting Dancing with the Stars so up is they've won this category way too many times to be underestimated. So
that's fair. Yeah, I think I probably had the same top three.
Can we do my favorite now? Because I'm like hope dicting.
Yeah,
please,
I know.
Please,
that's why I'm saving it for last because it's a great category, and we're both gonna want to predict the same damn show. All right.
I know.
Outstanding contemporary costumes. The nominees are Blackish, Purple Rain, Escape at Dannemora, Episode 6, Grace and Frankie, The Wedding, Russian Doll, Superiority Complex, Schitt's Creek, The Dress, and Sharp Objects, Closer. And again, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 comedy series and 2 limited series. No drama series in this category.
Yeah, too bad for Succession. Maybe next year.
Yeah. So I think we're both obviously on the Schitt's Creek train, and I think
I'm
this is
praying that this happens.
It's a great chance to win.
Oh yeah, it's about the dress, and then we finally see the dress at the end. Oh my god!
It's literally what it's all about. The same way that The Masked Singer is all about these costumes, helping disguise who's in them. So
I do think that Sharp
Objects.
Objects. Yeah, I think Sharp Objects is the spoiler.
Really?
Yeah, because it's that it actually gets to kind of cheat because this is the party episode, so they're all dressed up, they're all wearing hats, and then they have that play, so we do get like a hoop skirt period costume.
True.
Also in there, so that just the sheer amount of extras again, and all of those fine costumes because they're all dressed up for their party.
It's funny that both this and the Blackish episode, Purple Rain, which is the Prince episode, really kind of skirt the line between contemporary and period because each of them feature costumes that are not contemporary.
Well, more Purple Rain this than Sharp Objects. They go by the amount of costumes on everyone.
Yes.
So the fact that there's only like a half a dozen like little play actors in that show who are in period pieces.
But still, it's an advantage for them.
Yeah. Oh, sure. That's why I'm like, I love Schitt's Creek. I want it to win. Please God, let it be an Emmy-winning series. Can't I have one thing?
I think it's got a really good chance.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to go with that, but I would not be shocked in the slightest if this went to Sharp Objects.
I think the top 3 are Schitt's Creek, Blackish, and I can't decide between Sharp Objects and Russian Doll, actually.
My top 3 are Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek, Sharp Objects, and then Russian Doll for me.
Yeah, that sounds good too.
They don't love. I mean, I think the thing that like these costumers know is that like Blackish is just putting on this kind of one episode every season, try and get in tech categories. I mean, it's so obvious. They did this last year too.
Yeah, but I think the costuming in it is good. So I
Oh no, the costuming in is great, but they kind of go out of their way to put together one episode every season.
Let's do, what are we going to do next? Reality competition host. That is definitely something that we're going to do right now. And we've got Ellen DeGeneres, Ellen's Game of Games, and episode is Air Force One-Eyed Monster, RuPaul Charles, RuPaul's Drag Race, episode What You Unpackin', James Corden, The World's Best, episode 1.1, Marie Kondo, tidying up with Marie Kondo, episode Sparking Joy After a Loss, Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman, Making It, episode Meet Your Makers.
I would love to see Nick Offerman and Amy Poehler's acceptance speech.
I would too. And then get to see them on the Primetime Emmy show.
Oh my God, it would make me so happy. I'm a big Parks and Recreation fan.
I am too.
RuPaul would tie the all-time record at 4. Yeah, I really hate tidying up because it makes me feel bad as a person.
I don't. I get so emotional when she has to sit on the floor and just kind of feel the space. I love that so much. I think that she is a fascinating person, and I think she is absolutely the secret weapon spoiler here.
Yeah, it's surprising W. Kamau Bell didn't get in again.
Yeah, this is a big flip in this category.
Yeah, I'm gonna go RuPaul and then spoiler Amy Poehler, Nick Offerman.
I'm going with RuPaul.
I love them so much.
Yeah, I do too. I'm going with RuPaul for a fourth and tying win in a row, and Marie Kondo as the spoiler. And I would love to see it happen anyway. So. Yep. Do we want to do some music categories?
Yeah, when I heard that Schitt's Creek had 4 nominations, I'm like, were they nominated for song?
No, I don't even want to do the song category because they're not in it, and neither is the other two.
Know.
Those are like the only things that I wanted to get in. Let's do original main title theme music because it has somebody in there that I want to win. All right, the nominees are Castle Rock, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Good Omens, Our Planet, and Succession. So I want Succession to win because I want Nicholas Britell to be an award winner after getting...
Yeah, I actually think Succession will win this.
I think so too. I think it's the best shot. Although, these categories don't align. They don't have anything to do with like other nominations that it has. It's meaningless.
Yeah. Well, I think it's recognizable.
It's extremely recognizable. Although I will say Good Omens has so many music nominations. They're also in the music composition, original dramatic score category. The only non-limited series that's in here.
Yeah, I love Good Omens.
Yeah, it is a series. Yeah, so it's got a lot of attention in the music categories, and I think it's actually the spoiler.
I think actually Our Planet might be the spoiler, but I'm not 100%. Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yes, moving on. All right. There are a few other music categories. We've got the composition for series, composition for
Congratulations, Ramin Djawadi.
I know. And music supervision, which is pretty
I will add this to this. Add that to it really quickly. Mm-hmm. I think that he might actually be able to beat the films for the Grammy this time.
That would be interesting.
It's a very rare achievement, but I think he might actually, for the long night, be able to take the Grammy from a film.
So, the category we're talking about is original music composition for a series, original dramatic score. We are both predicting Game of Thrones to win over Barry, House of Cards, The Handmaid's Tale, and This Is Us. This is no contest to me.
Slam dunk.
Yep.
He has been criminally unrecognized in this category. Like, when you look back and you're like, oh, I got 20-something nominations for this season. He's the nomination that they were missing a lot of the time.
Weird things like that happen, too. Remember Angels in America got, 35,000 nominations and did not get a score nomination? That was crazy.
Yeah.
There's weird things that happen here all the time.
That was such a great limited series.
Yes, it was. Worth it.
If they would have played that in a theater, HBO would have a Best Picture nominee. Could you imagine?
Let's do outstanding music composition for a limited series, movie, or special original dramatic score. We've got Chernobyl, Please Remain Calm, Escape at Dannemora, Episode 5, Good Omens in the Beginning, True Detective, The Final Country, and When They See Us Part 2. This is one that I'm really I don't know what's going to win.
I think When They See Us actually might have a good chance at this. When I think about that second episode ending with Asante Black playing the trumpet. Yeah. If that's part of the original music, I feel really bad for Les Miserables because I kind of convinced the guy he was going to get nominated, but yeah, I thought he'd get in.
We always have to be very careful about that with interviews.
No, I was like, I think you've got a good chance of getting in.
Sure.
I turned out to be really wrong. I don't think True Detective is a player in this.
Yeah, I feel like True Detective and Escape at Dannemora are the ones that I can kind of eliminate.
And I kind of think I can eliminate Good Omens because I just feel like the series came out so late.
I don't know. I'm leaning.
Yeah, that's
I'm leaning.
kind of the problem.
I'm leaning Chernobyl,
Mm.
but there are so many categories where Chernobyl and When They See Us are going head to head,
Mm.
and obviously
I wonder.
Fosse
Yeah, you
Verdon is
might
not
be.
here because it's in the music supervision category.
Yeah, you might be right about this one with Good Omens because I don't think the music is the standout in either Chernobyl or When They See Us. Personally,
This is a strange category, and this absolutely could be something like Good Omens overcoming, hugely nominated shows like Chernobyl and When They See Us.
Yeah,
Which aren't
yeah,
necessarily
absolutely.
representative of, the feeling of each of those limited series as a whole, but as a very individual win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I do think I would applaud the branch if they did do something like that because the music for Good Omens feels like another character in the story.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
I think it's totally possible, and I'm wondering if it's not a spoiler, but actually a possible winner. So
I
I
feel
think
like
I'm going
it's
to say it might be.
yeah. I would probably still put When They See Us in front, and then maybe Good Omens as a spoiler.
I think
I don't
that's
know.
good. Yeah, I'm kind of stuck between Chernobyl, When They See Us, and Good Omens because the music in Chernobyl I think is also really,
Yeah,
really good.
I think the fact that there's not one where you're like, I remember this, like you do with Game of Thrones, where you're like, oh my god, it's Game of Thrones. Forget it. Let's just move on.
For some people that might be what it takes when they're voting. If they can't think of a cue of a music cue, they're just gonna be like, I don't know, I'm just gonna go with what's the most
I can
familiar.
kind of hum a few notes of the Good Omens, where it's like it's got that very kind of more peppy.
Yeah, it's more in the series of unfortunate events kind of thing.
Also, like Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah.
That's right, David Arnold. I compared you to an Oscar winner.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to predict Good Omens to be able to win.
I hope you're right.
With When They See Us as the spoiler, and then Chernobyl as a spoiler just behind that.
No.
Yep.
Music direction?
I was going to go to music supervision.
Ooh, okay.
Music
You're
directing,
jumping
isn't that
around.
just like an easy Fosse Verdon win?
Let me just check who the nominees are.
I have those up. I didn't bring up the.
Well, they have Aretha, a Grammy special, Homecoming, the Oscars,
Yeah.
Q85, Quincy Jones, a celebration for Quincy Jones, and SNL, Adam Sandler. Oh, yeah. If it was another episode, I would say SNL has no choice, but they did a lot of music in that episode.
Yeah, but I think it takes a bigger production than SNL to be able to win that.
And if Alex Lacamoire does win this category, just quickly, he will be an O away from EGOT. And I interviewed him, and he's like, "We're not going to add a new song." I'm like, he might feel differently on Monday, which he laughed at. But I'm like, yeah, if there's a new song, that's going to be my question if I get to speak to him again. I was like, you told me there wouldn't be a new song.
I love each of these award shows where I can go back to my master EGOT list and update it.
I know.
See who's getting closer.
Didn't they make Pasek and Paul stand up last year to say they might be EGOT winners if they, and then they lost to that SNL spoof song?
Yes, they did.
Oh, I love things like that.
That would have been wild because their trajectory was so fast.
I know. They would never win another award for 30 years if they did it that quickly. So
yeah, that might
they might have done him a favor.
Yes.
So music supervision.
Music supervision is Better Call Saul, Something Stupid, Fosse Verdon, Life is a Cabaret, Quincy, Russian Doll, Nothing in This World is Easy, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, We're Going to the Catskills. I think this is Fosse Verdon's to lose.
I think it's Fosse Verdon, but I would look out for the reigning champ, Maisel, because they have a lot of music in that series.
Yes.
They were not supposed to win last year when they. It's amazing how Fosse Verdon and Maisel are like each other's biggest competition in some of these categories.
Absolutely, and I think this will be one of the fun things is looking at who wins between Fosse Verdon and Maisel when they're going up against each other, and then who wins between like Chernobyl and When They See Us when they go up against each other.
Yeah,
those are categories that we really got to focus on.
Yeah, and I do think that it's not going to be a gimme for Fosse Verdon. This is going to be a little bit of a race.
I think they've got a pretty good chance.
I think they're on solid footing, but I wouldn't count out Maisel.
No, not with 20 nominations.
And also considering they did beat a very music-heavy show last year, Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't hold it against. I wouldn't be surprised if Maisel was able to repeat.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Well,
what's next?
I don't know. What other categories do you want to play with?
Do you think Sarah Bareilles is finally going to win her first award for This One's for You at the Tonys for music and lyrics?
I need to open up my music and lyrics.
I have the nominees. Crazy
Okay,
Ex-Girlfriend.
You
I Have to Get Out. Okay. Documentary Now. Song title, The Holiday Party. I Did a Little Cocaine Tonight. Flight of the Conchords. Live in London, song title, Father and Son. SNL host James McAvoy, The Upper East Side. How the hell is Adam Sandler not in this category? Songs of Parkland, song title, Beautiful Things Can Grow. And the second annual Tony Awards. This One's for You. And the songwriters include Sarah Bareilles and Josh Groban.
Yeah.
And it's the one where they sang about never winning an award. Which I feel bad for Sarah Bareilles, not so much for Josh Groban, but
it's really good. I like that a lot, but the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend's antidepressants are not so big a deal. It's just such a great song.
I'm wondering if they go serious again and they go for like the Songs of Parkland.
Sigh. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, SNL would make Leslie Jones a winner. That would be cool.
Oh, that would be a reason for it to win.
I wouldn't mind that, but the documentary Now, that episode should have been nominated for like 800 Emmys because it was the funniest thing. I hate that Paula Pell didn't get nominated. It drives me insane.
I love her.
I do too, and this episode was just through the stratosphere funny.
They do like Flight of the Conchords.
Yes,
I mean, it's gotten some. Yeah, I think one of these two might be an Oscar winner. Don't quote me, but I think one of them wrote for the Muppets movie.
Yeah,
so
the Muppet movie. Brett McKenzie.
When there was 2 nominees. Way to go, guys.
That was a sad year.
Yeah.
This is a tough category because things that you think make a lot of sense as a winner don't, and it's not. Mm-hmm. It isn't, and these aren't categories that have like an eligibility list or a submission list. They just come out, and it's a jury nomination list. Yeah,
and that's how sometimes we get ties in some of these categories is because they do still have to listen to the songs.
Yeah, and then we get weird ass snubs too.
Mm-hmm. I love that they're not afraid of farce songs. They don't always go for the most serious thing, but
yeah, and these are not.
Most of them are not. Songs of Parkland might be the one that sticks out in that case because a lot of these seem like they're funny.
I think I'm leaning to documentary now, though. Although I would love Crazy Ex-Girlfriend to win.
I would lean towards Songs of Parkland, but I would look out for Flight of the Conchords.
You picked the two safest choices.
Well,
the only dramatic one and a historically established winner.
I can't help that I like Flight of the Conchords.
I love Flight of the Conchords. So.
Well, if I was going for one that I think would be great, I would love to see Sarah Bareilles finally win a GD award. She just has the worst timing.
Start her EGOT now.
She's almost lost an EGOT. She's lost a Tony Award, an Emmy, and a gazillion Grammys.
I know.
Well, she lost most of her Tony Award to Hamilton, so, you know.
Everybody did.
Yeah, but then she lost the Grammy to The Color Purple, so, for that same album.
Oh, let's do Outstanding Animated Program.
Okay.
We've got Big Mouth, Bob's Burgers, BoJack Horseman, its first nomination. Come Along with Me, and The Simpsons, its 200th nomination. I
think you're...
I want BoJack to win, and it should win as a makeup for not getting nominated in every possible category that it can. But I think Big Mouth is going to win.
I'm happy with whatever makes you happy, because I actually don't watch any of these. I have no interest in animated programming towards adults, so...
Why?
I don't know. They've never interested me. I could come up with a snide remark, but I figured we could skip that. I know a lot of people who are into awards who want BoJack Horseman to win. So
yes, a lot of people do.
Hopefully that translates to a win.
Oh, I would be most happy if it won.
Yeah.
And it would be deserved.
Like, I would be very happy if Amy Poehler won, but that would make you kind of sad, but I would still be thrilled.
Not at all. I love her.
RuPaul has 3 Emmys already, so
yes.
She has half an Emmy.
I would like that as well. What about? Do you want to do narrator? Does that interest you?
Yes.
Okay. We have Sir David Attenborough, Our Planet, Juliet Stevenson, Queen's Mystery, Charles Dance, Savage Kingdom, Angela Bassett, The Flood, Liev Schreiber, The Many Lives of Nick. Oh my goodness. Buonaconti. I should know this.
Are you doing outstanding narrator?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You said okay. I'm sorry. I'm looking at them in alphabetical order. I'm sorry. Never mind.
And Anthony Mendez, Wonders of Mexico. Liev Schreiber, they love him here. I think he's going to get nominated anytime that he does anything. I want Angela Bassett to win.
Oh, me too.
It would be awesome.
I want her to win on the stage, though, so I don't really care if she loses this. I'm going to go with Our Planet, Sir David Attenborough.
I am going exactly the same.
Yay!
Yeah, I think we'll just lock that in.
Yeah, we can lock visual effects in for Game of Thrones, too.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to be able to go through every category.
No.
We'll be here for 7 hours. But I think we did quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good. And these are going to be in at least my predictions will be in written form this week as well before the Creative Arts Emmys, which are this weekend, the 14th and 15th. They are not televised. They won't be on TV until the Saturday before the Primetime Emmys on the 21st. So you will have to scour the internet or follow Awards Watch as I update them as soon as they are announced.
Yeah, and I think that stunt coordination for comedy series this year will go to Barry.
I think it's inevitable for that Ronnie Lilly episode.
Yeah.
That seems like a no-brainer. Sorry, Glow.
Yeah, it's a shame for Glow after their SAG win. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Amanda, thank you again so much for joining me on this Emmy prediction podcast.
You're welcome. I'm sorry I interrupted you during your comedy casting nomination.
Absolutely.
Revelation.
Absolutely fine.
I'm like, what is going on?
Amanda, where can people find you on the internet?
At Miss Amanda Spears on Twitter and Instagram.
And you can find me at awards_watch on Twitter and awardswatch on Instagram, Facebook, and awardswatch.com, of course. We are right in the middle of the Toronto Film Festival right now, so it's very movies, and Oscar predictions coming up. But we are in Emmy season, so we cannot forget and cannot not do Emmy predictions. So,
even though we're already thinking about the Golden Globes.
I know. As soon as these are done, it's going to be like we're right in there.
I know.
Right
I'm already getting emails.
At
Oh,
SAG
yeah.
and Golden Globe season. But,
I'm a SAG Awards expert.
oh, I cannot wait. I got to get my first SAG nominations out right after the September Oscar predictions come out.
Woohoo!
Anyway, so thank you everybody for listening. Thank you again, Amanda, for joining me.
You're welcome.
All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
Though I used to care, I need the open air. You're better off without me, mine hair. Don't dab your eye, mine hair. No wonder why mine hair. I've always said that I was a rover. You mustn't knit your brow. You should have known by now. At every cause to doubt me, mine hair. Bye bye, mine hair. My hair, I'll be just saying mine hair. As far as a good mine hair will fall by. Du kannst nicht wohl mein Herr, ach lebe wohl mein Herr. Du sollst mich nie mehr sehen, mein Herr. Bye bye, mein Herr. Oh Herr, und vorbei. Du kennst mich wohl, mein Herr. And bye bye, mein lieber Herr. Farewell, mein lieber Herr. It was a fine affair, but now it's over. And though I used to care, I need you open air. You're better off without me. You'll get on without me.
Cut.